Hey everyone, you are listening to the podcast Trust the Process, a safe space where you will hear from us women balancing their fitness and health while life goes on. Balanced diet, muscle gain, fat loss, new motherhood, getting back in shape, menopause onset, and so much more. And you are tuned into our latest episode, Yoga Decoded. Is it stretching, sweating, or soul searching? And this is your host, Yasha, based in Singapore. I am professionally a cloud technologist, a visual artist as well, a wife, a mother, a dog mom, and most importantly, a fitness enthusiast who has recently completed her first high rocks.
And this is Shanthi. I'm based in Malaysia. I'm a cybersecurity specialist, a wife, a mom to two boys and one dog, a budding Veena player, an avid reader, a globetrotter, and of course, a fitness enthusiast. Yasha, I'm very excited about today's episode because it's one of our favorite topics to talk about because we've actually talked about yoga several times in our podcast already because we both love yoga and we have been doing it for what? Forever now? So yeah, aren't you excited?
I know, right? We both are fans, and there's no question about it. What I have come to realize is that yoga means different things to different people, Shanti. Even for me at different stage of life, like forget about others, my own life, I have discovered new meanings and new benefits of yoga. And in fact, using yoga for different purposes now, right?
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with that. Like yoga, or what we call in India, which is the birthright of this wonderful form of exercise, is yoga. It's very wide and it's ocean like term on its own. But the question is yoga just about soulful mindfulness or a good stretch when you feel like, or can it actually build strength like other workouts? I think that is what we're going to tackle in this episode, along with the other benefits of yoga.
Very important question indeed, especially for those who are still exploring where, when, and how to start yoga. Oftentimes, people think, and I'm not saying they are entirely wrong, but they label yoga as just mindfulness and stretching, not even a workout. But if you go deeper and more into the technical yoga practices, well, it can give you a burn more than an hour of the gym.
Oh,
Well,
yes, absolutely.
Well, that's all technical, and we can get into that. But I was trying to address the myth that yoga is for lazy people or those who want easy way out, or yoga won't result into anything. I have even heard from some famous gym trainers and fitness enthusiasts making fun of yoga. So you know what I'm talking about, Shanti.
Yeah, and to an extent, it could be that, Yasha, for those who want mindfulness or soulfulness from that, isn't it? Like you said, it depends on who wants what from it. And having said that, yoga is indeed giving a lot to us humankind, and it's such an ancient practice. So let's go back to the archives if our audience is interested.
Oh, tell me about it if our listeners want to know that. Yoga has a history of its origination somewhere in, guess what, 3000 before Christ era. So
Wow.
old. And it was originated as part of Indus Valley civilization of ancient India. The practice is mentioned in Indian sacred texts like, Rig Veda. And then yoga is documented in Upanishads that are dated in around 500 to 200 before Christ era as a meditation practice, spiritual growth, connection with self and divine, as well as self realization.
Ah, so mesmerizing. And so ancient, and no wonder we see that embedded in our Indian culture, right? And I do hope that the next generations, the Gen Alpha and the Gen Zs, are listening to this, or at least will listen to this podcast to have some knowledge about its origin.
I know, or else for them, alphas, yoga will be labeled as something discovered in Bali by a millennial who probably was a fan of Eat, Pray, Love. No, I'm joking.
Oh, well, I love Eat, Pray, Love. I love Julia Roberts there. But yes, I totally get your point. Also, let's do a little bit of research on yoga. It has led to some really interesting facts, which I would like to share. The ancient systemized yoga was categorized as eight limbed path. I'm a bit conscious of naming all of them in Sanskrit because it's a bit rusty or really not that up to the mark. So I'll spare the audience with my poor pronunciation. But the English conversion is, what are the eight limbed path is: one, the ethical standards; two, self discipline; three, postures; four, pranayama, which is the breath control; five, sensory withdrawal; six is the concentration; and then finally the meditation. And of course, how can we forget samadhi, which is the state of ecstasy? I personally love the savasan, which we usually do at the end of any session, right? So that's about the eight limbed path. Interesting, right?
Samadhi. Yeah, indeed. Samadhi is also taken by some saints, like when they want to end their life, it seems that's the state of ecstasy for them. So, yeah, quite interesting. We have not reached there yet, so let's not scratch that surface. Well, I think I have read this somewhere, maybe in religious Hindu text, but I don't remember. It makes total sense to me as a yoga practitioner. And speaking of the modern era of yoga, we had the Hatha Yoga from around 800 century, and then in 1800s it was introduced to Western world by Swami Vivekanand, and since then we have seen development of different arms of modern yoga such as Ashtanga, Iyengar, Vinyasa, Power Yoga, Hot Yoga, Restorative Yoga. Yeah, Shanti, I know you are into yoga. We talked about it. Which style of yoga is your way to go?
My favorite style, hands down, has to be Hatha Yoga. It focuses on your physical postures, that is the asanas, and also on your pranayama, that is the breath control, right? So it's a very good technique to balance both your body and mind and my soul as well. It's foundational, it's often slower paced, and it's perfect for beginners, right? So, and when did I start yoga? I think back in 2008, I had like very two young kids, two toddlers in tow, and a lot of postpartum weight to handle for me. I resorted to Shilpa Shetty's yoga channel on YouTube. I think I mentioned this before in one of our episodes as well. Why it struck to me was because it was very easy to follow, like she never used jargon for any of the asanas. All her episodes were like 20-minute episodes focusing on yoga for stress, or yoga for belly fat, or yoga for like a sore muscles, right? So that really kind of stayed with me, and she basically turned all the hatha yoga asanas into something very relatable to women like me who were basically clueless.
Ah, who is Shilpa Shetty? Well, reiterating, she is one of the most fit, famous movie star from Bollywood. And hey, Shilpa, are you listening? Shanti is totally endorsing you. Not that you need, but count as a fan here.
Yeah, of course. Major, major fan. Wow, she looks amazing for her age. And I think she still posts on her channel on yoga, wellness, and even healthy recipes. They're very easy to follow. So, yeah, she was my first virtual guru. From then on, I practiced yoga on my own, but also tried other forms of yoga in these classes like hot yoga, aerial yoga. I think that's my least favorite. And chair yoga. Chair yoga was again surprisingly very good. But yeah, they're not my personal favorites. I always go back to Hatha Yoga. Whenever there's a class, I just go for the yoga flow. It really helps to for me to just unwind for the week, right? Yeah, so that's my favorite workout of the week as actually. So what's yours? Do you have a favorite? Like, do you always go for any particular kind of yoga? Any preference?
Yeah, Shanti, like I said, I kept discovering new meaning of yoga, I guess all my life, and I'm still learning. And going back to childhood before I get to my favorite, it's a very nice memory in my mind. My mom and her some friends used to talk about yoga. And there was this one famous auntie, a friend of my mom, who was apparently very fit and very fine at her age when she had teenagers, I guess. Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
rolling my eyes. Those days, people used to consider parents of teenagers as old. And yeah, that And that auntie used to practice yoga very regularly. So she was talk of the town. That was my first intro to the world of yoga, that, oh, that's something nice. And then in books, television, if you remember, the Patanjali yoga got very viral in India and everyone was doing yoga to cure everything.
Oh, yeah. Patanjali yoga is still famous. This is like really a viral form, even before social media was there, right? I clearly remember those days. And they were emphasizing on pranayama, which I think we take it for granted, right? Like the controlled breathing technique, which I think is very true, is very capable of healing a lot of health issues because, well, simply we have forgotten to breathe. We take it for granted,
Mm, yeah,
right? A
yeah.
lot of times people, when we are stressed, what does anyone say? Take a deep breath, right? And that actually helps. So yeah,
Mm.
pranayama is one of my favorites as well.
Let me take a deep breath first. Yeah. Yeah, so that. So coming going back to my story, initially, I used yoga as that tool. My parents told me to practice pranayama, meditation. I guess when I just entered the workforce and I was clocking crazy hours, I tried doing that meditation but failed miserably. But yeah, that. And then at some point of time, I became regular to sun salutations because I liked doing those and they were helping. So much so that I used to do 108 sun salutations on World Yoga Day every year without a break. Well, this year I broke it because I was 1 week away from High Rocks and I couldn't take chances.
Sun salutations or Surya Namaskar were my favorite too, Yasha. Like, but I never did 108 at a stretch like you did. I think World Yoga Day falls on June 21st, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes,
But I would definitely spend a good 30 minutes every day, starting the day with Surya Namaskar. And at this point of time of my life, I was very, very regular to it. And I didn't need gym. I was okay not going for a walk because that was enough exercise for me. It helped me to keep my limbs active, nimble, and it really helped a lot, right? The sun salutations. But again, I would say there was this the challenges on social media and people going crazy doing it at a faster pace that can actually do more harm than good, right? Do you agree with me or not? Right, and because these
absolutely.
sun salutations have to be done at a certain pace in the right form, otherwise the purpose is being defeated. So let's not succumb to social media challenges and do it like within a stipulated amount of time, but understand why you're doing the sun salutations, really.
I agree, definitely. And I hope you're not indicating that to me.
No.
No. So I only do 108 sun salutations once a year. It's very challenging. I'm drenched in sweat. And it's not just I wake up one day and do that, right? It takes a certain amount of effort and practice. And like you said, otherwise, welcome to the world of injury, guys. So from then until a particular time frame, I was doing a lot of yoga, but without knowing the difference between types of yoga, etc. And I did think it doesn't matter as long as it is serving the purpose. My first proper learning of yoga was Ashtanga yoga. It happened right during COVID time frame. Do I need to explain why during that time?
No, because I think you were not alone for sure. Uh, I think the world completely changed its mindset as a collective humankind that, oh, we must focus on things that matter and focus on well being, focus on, and of course, we had more time. We were all stuck at our homes.
Right,
Uh, and a lot
right.
of people took shelter into yoga at that point of time. Me included.
Yes, yeah, but my reason was not finding solace from COVID anxiety for a change. I agree with what all you said for everyone. If you remember, I mentioned this story of mine earlier, doing, overdoing, overworkout, overrunning without pause and restore. So during COVID time, when gyms were out, like you said, they were shut down, I was running a lot. I was running like 10K, 10 kilometers every day, which I think burnt me out. And I had an episode of high blood pressure for a few days. And that was the point where I stopped everything and decided to learn proper yoga. That if you have to do it, you have to do with a pace and with the proper practice. And also, the option was only online yoga because, hey, you can't go anywhere. My friend Shivika, she introduced me to a fabulous yoga teacher, Prerna, who was my first proper yoga guru. Hey, Prerna, are you listening? She taught me Ashtanga. And if she's listening, she would be laughing at me that no, Yasha, you did not come to me with the goal of getting rid of your burnout. You actually said, I want to be able to do handstand in 2 months. Well, what do I do with my personality? It's hard not to set goals.
Handstand and Yasha, exactly what I can relate to. And talking about goals, of course, we're very, very similar that way. I have a very similar obsession, you know that, but I also want to take a pause and remember those times when yoga helped me when I was mentally very low. In 2015, so that's about 10 years ago. Wow, time flies. In a particularly low phase of my life where I was battling situational depression, I wouldn't call it clinical because there were a lot of things which were weighing me down. That was when one of my friends really asked me to go and enroll into something called the Isha Yoga. Now, it is very famous in India, and I did resort to that. Now, I'm not talking for or against the founder and the Isha Yoga in particular, but at that point of my life, it helped me immensely. Right? I did a 3 week program with them where we were supposed to sit for 3 hours every single day from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So this was right after work, um, and we had to listen to the founder's teachings, right? And then we were taught one asana at a time, like one posture at a time. um, it was intense. I have to admit that, and not everyone who started the program, I could see them until the end of the program. No, there were a lot of people dropping in between.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it was very intense. But yeah, I eventually did the 3 week program, and we were supposed to practice that on our own afterwards. And I did it for 6 months as well until I really felt better. So yeah, I
Great.
know it's not for everyone. And again, approach it with your own caution and own information on any form of yoga or any kind of mindfulness practices that you will be enrolling yourself into. Just see why you're doing what you're doing, and I think you will find your path. Okay,
I
that was actually heavy, Yasha, but I'm very curious. Were you able to do your handstand or not?
hmm. Well, yeah, it was heavy, and I want to go back to that maybe later to know more about your experience. 6 months, wow. Yeah, coming back to handstand, yes, all credit goes to my guru. I could do handstand, but you know what? It needs regular practice consistently. I might not be able to do that at this point of time. I don't know. I haven't tried, and I'm out of practice as well, but the teachings are there with me. Prerna Bhatia, you were awesome. By the way, she lives in Bombay and she's a very, very good yoga teacher. So one must try her for sure. So, cut to now, Shanti, I think I have evolved a lot when it comes to yoga. Currently, I have membership of 3 gyms, and one of those is only for yoga, dedicated. I go to Pure Yoga, and I try to do 2 60 minutes classes per week. So, my personal favorite these days is hot yoga. I
Mm-hmm.
know you shouldn't indulge into it a lot, but it just rejuvenates you to the core. And I usually choose a type of yoga based on how my week or how my day is going. So that's how I will choose. Thank God, I mean, I have luxury to choose types of yoga.
No, I completely agree with you there, right? Because yoga has a huge role in your mobility, injury prevention, posture correction, especially for all the desk jobs that we do, right? And there is so much about flexibility. I mean, when did we last sit on the floor with crossed legs? Our ancestors used to do that all the time. I do, of course. It is a testament to how much I have evolved using yoga and the other forms of exercise. But didn't you tell me about a funny story about your hubby on your wedding day? Like he couldn't sit cross legged, or did I spill some beans? What do you say, Yasha?
Yeah, we will have a domestic dispute over this episode for revealing close secrets. I I like what you said. I mean, there is a myth that yoga is for girls. Yeah, we love our yoga, definitely, but yoga is indeed for everyone. In my yoga class, I see 90% of females. So yeah, that's for a fact actually. But hey, shout out to those guys and those male yoga teachers who are leading the bandwagon. So coming back to my present day of evolved state of yoga, if I must say, yeah, I mean we are still learning. The goalpost probably will change after a few months or few years. So here's my schedule. So if for stretching and relaxing my muscles, I go for a yin or a hatha class, like you said, right? Hatha is perfect for that, or a even lighter yin class. If I'm feeling power challenged and I missed the gym in a row and I need to do that kind of, little bit adventurous, then I go for an advanced Ashtanga class or a hot yoga class. It gives me that pump. And some days, number three, I do prefer sound bath, meditation, healing, restoration yoga. It's actually very soothing for your soul sometimes, or your tired body. And of course, sun salutation sometimes in the morning if I feel like doing that.
Awesome. I mean, this is a very similar way how I schedule my yoga sessions too. So the main point is we listen to our body and we choose the class that serves our body needs for that week, right? But yes, I also acknowledge that both of us are privileged to live in a world where we have access to such good classes. But for those who don't have access and still want to try their hands on yoga, I would highly recommend to find a good online tutor or a channel that can guide you slowly yet surely on your yoga journey.
100% Shanti. While I would prefer a beginner to start with a teacher in person, but if that's not possible, like how I did, then yes, these days tech is so advanced. There are apps and also virtual reality yoga experience, if you know about that. That's
Mhm.
also becoming a trend. But please, please, please do not ask Chat GPT to become your first yoga teacher. it's it is a science after all and should be respectfully learned, I would say.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And there are some funny yoga sessions that I keep hearing on social media, like goat yoga, dog
Hmm?
yoga,
What?
which
No, there is animal yoga actually. There is.
animal yoga is still therapeutic. Is I think because when I'm practicing yoga, my dog comes in and does tries to do a downward dog, or rather just stretches, and it's a dog anyway. But I've heard of wine yoga. Have you heard of wine yoga? It happens in New York City or somewhere, and I thought that was a bit too ridiculous, and people are stretching it way too much, right?
Um, will not agree with wine yoga. But yeah, animal yoga, they teach to children sometimes. So I have
They
been to
do,
one of
yeah.
the, yeah. But what is wine yoga?
Wine yoga, I have seen this women doing various poses and still drinking wine in between. Um,
What? You are not even
yes,
supposed to drink water in between. Very funny.
yeah. I mean, I think the newer generation is also into trendy things. So, but I really hope and I sincerely wish that they learn yoga in the right way, in the with the right techniques, with the right teachers, right? And of course, yoga fashion and yoga gears and all of that, though it has been quite westernized, the heart lies in where from where it comes from, and I think that should be respected.
With that smile on your face, when you said yoga gear, you definitely are not talking about yoga mat, blocks, wrist and ankle weights, or blocks, right? I think you're talking about things like aloe yoga. Well, I fell prey to that too. It's hard not to indulge in trendy yoga fashion for sure, but ancient yoga practices tell you to wear, you know, cotton and light and loose clothes and focus more on the value than fashion. But yeah, we all have become victim of consumerism.
Oh, well, I think that's why we took a moment to wear some cotton salwars today. Uh, very, very good costumes. Well, But I think again, it's all about attracting the masses to a certain medium, right? So, well, if that yoga fashion is getting more people to do yoga, why not? I think we should just evolve with time. That's all I can say.
Speaking about attracting people towards yoga, that's what we are talking about, Shanti, right? Not that yoga need any publicity, but yoga is one such practice that can work for many, especially for those who can't, for some reason, get into, high strenuous physical exercise. So there is yoga for everyone. Like I'm sure you must have heard of prenatal yoga for expectant mothers, mobility yoga for seniors, and recovery yoga for athletes or those who are injured, either mentally or physically. Yeah,
Yeah, it's also great to combine yoga or making it a segue to other forms of physical activity where it can help, like dance, right? Those dancers who need to have that flexibility, or even the martial art practitioners. This might sound unbelievable, but go check it out as your homework, people. Find out how do martial art practitioners use yoga to their advantage. It's mind blowing.
that's interesting. What is the price for guessing right, Shanti?
A yoga mat.
Fair, fair. Now that you are talking about interesting things, have you ever planned a yoga retreat? Speaking about trendy things, that's the trendiest thing in my girls group these days. I have made many such dreamy plans that one day we'll go to this yoga retreat. But yeah, once I did a yoga health camp. It was not that famous as retreats those days, but yeah, I went in there. It was an experience. It was focused on diet as well as yoga, away from home in a jungle setting. I think more than my body, it helped my mind and brain to calm down. So, girls and also boys, don't wait. Plan your next quick trip as your yoga retreat.
Oh, that's a great idea. I've never been to a yoga retreat. I keep getting that on my feed. And now that we spoke so much, it's all coming on my social media feed for sure for the next couple of days. I know that for sure. But yeah, I think we could also just plan a yoga retreat right at home. Just call some girlfriends, have a yoga Sunday. Not the wine, of course, but yeah, we can definitely do something like that. I used to do that a lot with my girlfriends. We would at least do once a week. Just get into someone's home, put the mats on, and just stretch our worries away. It was really, really blissful. Yep. Anyway, I think we are coming to the end of the episode, but we want to really leave the audience with some fun as well. So I'm going to say a statement, Yasha, and you tell them whether it's a myth or truth. Okay?
Okay,
It's not a
okay.
truth or dare, it's a myth or truth. Okay? Ready? One, yoga is only for stretching.
Myth.
Absolutely. I think we've covered that enough. That's true. This is very controversial, but I want your take on this. Second one, you need to be flexible to start yoga.
Yes and no. If you are not flexible, you'll never start yoga. But
Mm-hmm.
to be flexible, you have to start yoga. So it means you have to start yoga.
You have to start somewhere. That is true. That what I would say is you don't need to have that as a prerequisite. Like only if you're flexible, you can go ahead and do yoga. The first day you might not, your limbs might be like screeching, your knees might be aching, but probably on the 10th day, if you're practicing regularly, you would the flexibility would really come in. So yeah, you don't need to be really flexible. That's not a prerequisite. So it's a myth. Third one, we talked about yoga classes, right? A 1 hour class of yoga is a minimum.
Myth.
What do you
It
think?
could be 10 minutes, it could be
Yeah,
5 minutes. Two sun salutations take less than 5 minutes. It's a great place to start from.
true, true. Totally agree. And last but not the least, yoga is for everyone, not just for women.
True.
All right. So, with that, we come to an end of this really wonderful episode on yoga. Well, I have to actually say what Shilpa Shetty usually says, yoga se hi hoga. What it really means is it happens only with yoga, and I really like it. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Trust the process. We are on various platforms: Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Audible, and now on YouTube as well. So please subscribe to us, and do send it to your friends who might get benefited out of this wonderful episode.
And until the next episode, keep breathing, keep stretching, and give your body, mind, and soul some well deserved attention in any form. Trust the process and have fun. Bye bye.
Bye bye.